So welcome along to the QE Biology A-level webinar. I'm just waiting for a few more participants to build up. So we're on just about 50 now. So I'm going to wait for that number to plateau. So I'm 55 now, I can see, 57. And in the background, hopefully you can see the biology website, which is available through the QE website. And hopefully a few of you have had an opportunity to go through the information on this website, where I've tried to include all sorts of information ranging from the kind of technical stuff about the specification and the exam board and the exam timings and things, to a really good section actually on what's it like. So we interviewed lots and lots and lots of students via a Google form, and they put some really perceptive replies. So I kind of recommend that you comb through the information on this website. There's some really good stuff, especially from the people who can really tell you what the subject is like, which are obviously our students. Anyway, we've got a really good number of participants. Thank you very much for coming along. And I think the main thing for me to say is, any questions, and I'm more than happy to answer questions, right from the very word go. So please, I encourage you to type questions into the timeline, and I'm kind of anticipating questions as they come in. So just whenever you're ready. Okay, what A-levels do you recommend for medicine? Well, thank you. Traditionally, that would be chemistry. Chemistry is always number one, and then it's biology, and I guess traditionally it would be another science, maybe physics or maths. But I think increasingly now, it's those two. Almost inevitably, you need to be doing those two, chemistry and biology, and also maybe a contrasting one, something that suits your skills, suits your skill set, something maybe a little bit contrasting that keeps your essay writing skills going. It's really, that third one is really up to you. Traditionally, it would be a very sciencey one, but often students are talking about English literature, maybe psychology, anything at all really. But also do your research and look at the websites and the entry requirements for from the universities that are offering medicine, I would say. Okay, so what do we study on the biology course? Well, it's definitely a very broad course, and we start with a module called Foundations. So we're starting by studying the kind of building blocks of life, the small molecules to start off with, like water and proteins and carbohydrates, and then we get into some physiology, and then some whole organism biology, and it goes right up to ecology. So it's studying the huge range of life. It really is the study of life and bioscience. So it's a massive, wide-ranging course. But I encourage you to have a look at the website, and it goes into much more detail and breaks the specification down. Okay, moving on. How long should you spend revising each week? Yeah, really good question. Students will have 5 hours of live teaching every week in front of a teacher, and we encourage students right from the word go to reflect that 5 hours in 5 hours of independent study per week. So some of that study will be doing work that's been set by teachers, but actually most of the time independently we'll be reviewing the content, practicing retrieving the content, working with your notes, reading around the subject, making revision resources, that kind of thing, to encourage students to be very independent and really take responsibility for that independent work right from the word go. And it's one of the massive differences, I think, between GCSE and A-level, this emphasis on how important your independent work is. Would you recommend taking chemistry and biology to go and study pharmacy at uni? Again, I mean, chemistry I think would be number one there. I'm not a careers expert, but certainly biology would be very relevant. I would say do your research, go into the UCAS website, put pharmacy in there as your search, and find out all the different places in the country that are offering pharmacy and what they're looking for in terms of entry requirements. But certainly chemistry and biology kind of make sense, I guess, as the top two there, definitely. What A-levels do you recommend to take with biology? Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of informed by what your progression intentions are. So many students are interested in biology because they want to progress into the medical field. maybe biomedical sciences or medicine itself. So chemistry certainly complements biology. But then other students are just really interested in biology and they're doing that as a standalone science. They're interested in other things. So it really depends on your interests and your strengths, but also your progression as well. And if you've got an idea about progression, that's a really good way of narrowing your A-level choices down, I would say. Okay, so let's have a look. Is this a good subject to take with health and social care? I would say yes. We certainly have students who are studying health and social care along with biology. It's a very contrasting course, so it's examined in two very different ways. Again, I think that's dictated by your progression. So if you're intending to progress into a health career like nursing or midwifery, then biology certainly works, but health and social care works as well. I would say, again, do your research, talk to our careers department, because in some respects, health and social care and biology is quite a narrow choice, and it's 2 of your 3 A-levels would be taken up with very kind of biologically related studies. So you've got to be quite careful to get the balance, to get a good balance in that respect. Okay, could you describe a typical lesson? Okay, yeah, really interesting question. I think it kind of depends. I mean, we like doing practicals. We know that students like doing practical. Also, module 1 of the 6 modules is development of practical skills. So, you know, a typical practical lesson would be a very, very active, kind of interactive, complex practical lesson, more complex, I would suggest, than many GCSE practicals. But then there's a lot of content also in biology. So, you know, we try to make our lessons engaging. We try to make our lessons interactive, multi-activity, so lots of things going on, moving from one activity to another, trying to get the students involved. But we're also very aware that there are some complex concepts in biology, and then there inevitably needs to be some teacher-led material with teachers using their experience to explain these complex concepts. So it totally depends on what kind of a lesson. We try to make our lessons as engaging and as informative and interesting as possible. I hope you don't feel I've ducked out of that answer there. I wouldn't say there is a typical biology lesson in some respects. Anyway, we'll move on here. Hopefully we won't need to worry about this, but how do classes work when there's COVID restrictions? Yeah, okay, so again, good question. What we've been doing now, we're in week 3 of the lockdown situation. We're live teaching our lessons. You know, I've been here. I've had 3 lessons today. I've had 4 hours. 4 hours of teaching. I've been sat here, and I've got 2 cameras. I've got a camera that I can change around to a whiteboard that I use. I've got a graphics tablet. I've got a really good setup here. So I'm teaching my lessons live, and I'm making my way, and we're making our way. The biology teachers making our way through the specification at the same speed as we would be if we were teaching physically in college. So the fact the exams have been cancelled at the end of the year really hasn't made any difference at all in what we're doing and what we're teaching and how we're supporting our students. Okay, how much harder is it compared to GCSE biology? Yeah, good question. It's a very, very different subject from GCSE biology. In fact, I sometimes say to students who are surprised with its academic demand that I almost wish it wasn't called biology and was called something else, because it is it's a very different feeling subject from GCSE biology. And I don't say that in a negative sense. I say that to kind of prepare students for being really genuinely academically challenged by the subject. You know, it has an equal academic challenge to something like maths A-level or physics A-level or chemistry A-level. It's by no means the easy science. So I think if you're ready to be academically challenged by it and ready for it to be tough and demanding and for you to be probably more challenged academically than you ever have been before, then you're ready for it, ready for it to be difficult. But as I say, it's challenging in a very positive way. It's challenging because it's fascinating and because we go into so much more depth and detail, I think, at A-level. Okay, I'm not going to get through all of these questions, so I'm just going to keep going. And thank you very much for the detail and the quality of these questions. Biology for marine biology. Yeah, absolutely. Biology is definitely top one there. Again, I would say, I'm not a careers expert. I would do your research. Go to the UCAS website, put marine biology into a search and find out what those quite limited number of universities who offer marine biology, see what they're looking for, see what other A-levels they're looking for. Is there anything we can know about the practical part of the course? Well, the practical part of the course is a whole module. And what students do throughout the course, they build up a portfolio of their practical work. And they build up a series of 12, what they call PAG reports, practical activity group reports. And that contributes to what's called the practical endorsement, which is a pass-fail qualification, which is students gain in parallel to their grade. So students pass that qualification, not because it's easy, because they understand that they have to work hard and build up their portfolio. So there's a page actually on the website about the different practicals. So it's dissection and microscopy and research skills and enzyme catalyzed experiments. There's all sorts of big diversity of practical skills, lots of practical. I tend to work ahead of my class when I do individual studying. Okay, that's a great question. The A-level lessons by necessity they move quickly from content to content to content. But if you want to continue to work ahead of the class, we share via a detailed and highly regularly updated website all of the lesson resources with all of the students. So if you want to look ahead, or if you want to review material or use the material in parallel to when the teacher's using that material in the lesson, you have access to all of that material. So you definitely still have that opportunity. Is it very maths based? Well, there's definitely maths in biology. Maths is a tool that scientists use, whether they're physicists or chemists or pharmacists or applied scientists or biologists. So in terms of the mathematical demand of the course, 10% of the marks at the end of the course. So there are 270 marks available out of the 3 exams. 10% of those marks will be calculation-based, maths-based. So is it very maths-based? Not very, but we definitely don't shy away from the maths, and it certainly has a mathematical component to it, yes. How many biology teachers are there at QE? So there are 3 of us at the moment, and there are in the first year we have 6 classes, and in the second year at the moment we have 4 classes, though that'll be more next year. So yeah, 3 biology teachers, and we try and keep each class only has 1 biology teacher, which is how it's working this year. Do you learn about animal anatomy? Certainly, there's some animal biology. Yes, so we do some work on some of the larger organs and organ systems of the body. So the circulatory system and the heart, the liver, the kidney. So yeah, there's a lot of animal biology, but not exclusively animal biology. We do a lot of plant biology as well, and the biology of microorganisms, classification, ecology. So it's certainly not just animal biology. What exams would you do, and when do you do them? So we do 6 hours worth of exams at the end of the 2-year course. That's what the whole course kind of builds up to. Although of course this year and previous year those exams haven't happened. I hope they do happen next year, because it is it's an examined course. So there are 3 exams at the end of the course. There's some good information about that on the website here. So yeah, that's what we build up to. So 2 exams out of 100 marks, 1 out of 70. So 6 hours worth of exams. Those exams are examined in a mixture of multiple choice questions to start off with. So 15 multiple choice questions in the first part of the first 2 exams, and then they go on to short answer questions, maximum of 6 marks long. So there's no essay writing in biology. It's all about short-ish answer questions. Any dissection? Do we do any dissection in the A level? Yes, we do. So not a great deal, but it's one of the practicals that we do. So we do we dissect a heart, a lamb's heart, We dissect a kidney, a lamb's kidney. We dissect a salmon head to look at the gills. So those are the three main dissections. We also do a plant dissection. We look at the distribution of vascular tissue in the stem of a plant. So that's the other dissection that we do. Okay, moving on. In the last 5 minutes or so, how much do biology and PE curriculums complement each other? I would say there's a tiny little overlap between those two specifications, and it tends to be in the biochemistry of respiration. There's also a little bit of muscle contraction. I would say the subjects definitely complement each other, but they are miles more different from each other than they are similar to each other. Okay. Is the jump from GCSE biology to A-level substantial? Yes, it is. But that's nothing to be intimidated about if you're ready for it. And if you've got good study skills and you're prepared to work independently, and you are self-motivated and you're positive and enthusiastic and resilient, then that jump is something that's it's quite exciting to make. So you should be excited about it being difficult and there being a big jump rather than being intimidated about it. But it's definitely there, yes. Practical work. So yes, Sam, is there any practical work? Yeah, if you've listened to my previous answers, there's lots of practical work. There's a lot of theory as well. So there's kind of a balance there. One of the modules is purely practical work. It's called Development of Practical Skills. Okay, so moving on, I've heard that plant biology course is mainly plant biology. Oh, right. It's definitely not mainly plant biology. I would say that there's some plant biology. I would say it's mainly animal biology, but there's definitely plant biology in there. So, for example, we study the biochemistry of photosynthesis. We study the way in which substances are transported around plants. But then also we study the biochemistry of respiration, which obviously happens in plants and animals, and we do lots of animal physiology in terms of the way in which substances are transported around animals, so circulatory systems, the heart, etc. So I would say it's skewed toward animal biology, but there's certainly a good chunk of plant biology in there. Okay, yeah, good question. What are the results? Thank you, Rebecca. What are the results like for biology at QE? We are proud of our results. The last time we had exams, 54% of our students gained high grades, so that's A star, A or B grades, which was significantly higher than national average. So we were really, really pleased with that. And there's nothing to suggest that the results wouldn't be the same in the next year that we did the exams. Now, if you have the potential and the study skills and the enthusiasm and the work ethic to do well in your A-level, QE is a really good place to come and succeed and do well in your A-levels. We're good at facilitating students doing well in their A-levels. Okay, the pass percentages for A's and A stars. Yeah, so yeah, last time I had exams, as I say, 54%. A star and B. I don't know the figure actually. I'd have to look it up for A's and A stars. Yeah, okay. Could biology help with the course in pathology? I would say you have to study biology. You would have to study biology to study pathology. Do your research, go into UCAS, look for pathology courses. I think pathology is actually a branch of medicine, so you'd have to specialize in medicine to start off with, and then specialize in pathology. Okay, is there a, yeah, is there, do A-level classes last minute or so work at a really fast pace? Yes, definitely. But if your attendance is good and if you're keeping up to speed with the work, and if you want to do as you suggest here, if you want to look ahead at the work, you have all those opportunities. Okay. Last one. Mocks throughout the course. So yeah, we assess students all the way through the course. We are very keen on tracking students' performance all the way through the course, not just for our sakes, but mainly for the students' sakes. So they know that they're doing the right things and they're up to speed with the quality of the answers and the quality that they produce in their assessments. So yeah, assessment is extremely important all the way through the course. Okay, so last couple of questions. Are dissection's compulsory if you're squeamish. We would not ever insist that a student takes part in a dissection, but it is part of the course. So we would talk to the student very carefully about how we can get them involved in a dissection. We completely respect that some people are less keen to take part in dissections than others. We'd work that one out, not a problem at all. What study methods do you recommend? A lot of people like mind maps, but okay. We understand very clearly that learning how to be an A-level student is a very challenging situation. We have lots of different study techniques and ways of scaffolding students through that set of decisions and that set of evolution on the way to becoming an A-level student. We know that that's a real challenge. We'd have lots and lots of ideas and techniques for you to study effectively as an A-level student. Okay, so a couple of minutes past the deadline now. I'm going to leave it there. Wow, thank you very much for all those questions. Just last one there, very quickly, exam board is OCR. Again, I encourage you to have a look at the website there. Lots and lots of information. Also encourage you to apply for QE online. It's a very simple process that you can go through the website to do. So thank you very much for all your questions. Hopefully I've given you a little bit of a flavour of what the course is like. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact with me. My name is Sven Wardle through QE Inquiry, and I very much look forward to seeing some of you later on this year, in September.